thank you, Didier, and thank you everybody to be here to share this idea of intersectoriality with us, creating a new ecosystem. And I will ask you with another question. I will ask you to work with another approach with intersectoriality. Today, we know a lot of concepts. One health is accepted by whole country, by whole public health actors, but moving from theory to implementation in the field is still complex and limited in many areas and in many countries. This concept is to be shared between people, but difficult to include in the real life. However, this approach may be relevant to fight against health inequality. And we need a framework that include all actors who have an impact on health on this point. This orientation is defined in the Helsinki Statement on Health in Whole Body Health. And to take into account the health implication of policy decision across all sectors and level of government, and also all public health actors, we need to develop intersectoral action and healthy public policy. So, in my topic, you will find a lot of questions that for which we will find an answer together in the round table. Intersectoriality, what is it? You can find different words to define it, different terms. For me, the best definition is any action of organization in which people and her organization join together to promote health. Why is it intersectoriality? What is it? Sorry. Intersectoriality, why this approach? Because major factors that impact the health of population and the distribution of health inequality are located very often outside the health sector. And to be active on them, we need to work together. Health actors must be engaged with other sectors of activity, education, urban building, industry, agriculture, education, and society to address the determinants of health and well-being. This definition, this concept, will be effective on the transformation of our environment of life. But who is concerned by intersectoriality? All people? Specific subgroups? When we look at the literature, we can find different answers. And in this morning, we will try to identify the specific population for which intersectoriality approach will be relevant. Another question, intersectoriality for which problem, for which health problem? All determinant, specific disease, on which point can we define this disease? Impact on the population health, impact on socio-economic determinant, and so on, impact of vulnerable population. When we think to the future, it's another question. that will be discussed in the roundtable. Intersectoriality is a concept that is now very present in all public health programs. But which efficiency? We all together are involved in this approach. But how many of us have evaluated a program of intersectorial action? We need to make this evaluation to build a strong approach to develop this concept in our society and in our research. Today, there is no international agreed-upon theory on the efficiency of intersectoriality. Some models have been proposed. Some examples, the Bergen model of collaborative functioning with input, collaboration, strategy, and output. And if you look at the literature, you can find some analysis and some identification of the most relevant are input, output, and throughput. Louise will discuss them in another keynote, so you will find more information, but keep in mind this point, because they are not always very easy to define, okay? And this point is very difficult to identify and to have a good vision, and this point will be differently defined if you have a health professional or an educational professional. For each input, output, you will find some facilitating element and obstacle, different if you belong to the educational field of the health or to the health sectors, health professional sector. So this point will be also subject of discussion at the end of this morning. To evaluate and to be effective in intersectoriality, a lot of actors must be involved. You find them here. You can find health, education, but you can find a lot of other actors. The question is how these different actors may interact, and you can imagine, you can define two models, a leader engagement model or a share engagement model. I think you will find my answer. And to conclude, please keep in mind that intersectoriality is a very good way, very good approach to track health inequality, to create an involved community, but it's not sufficient. The intersectoriality action must be evaluated and shared with all actors of public health. And it's in this way that we are involved with the shared UNESCO, Global Health and Education. We would like to act for network creation and collaboration between all actors involved in health and education through action at all levels of the children's life ecosystem in order to reduce health inequality. Thank you.
counting the time, even if I put some pressure for it. So we have time for maybe 2 or 3 questions. And I don't know, Valerie, if you have questions from people connected online.
Yes, I have one question.
So we begin with the people online and then...
I have one question. Do you think it is easy for health professionals to work in intersectorality?
Some years ago, I said no, because 20, 30, 40 years ago, health was considered as the private sectors for health professionals. But nowadays, for me, we are a different context. Health professionals are more and more involved in prevention and sometimes in health promotion. For me, it's a different thing in the mind of health professionals. Prevention is associated with disease for health professionals. But health promotion is still a new concept, and health professionals didn't not very well identify their role in intersectoral action in this field. But I am an optimist person, and I think we can work together to promote it.
Maybe we can take another question in the room. Yes, please.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Dilek. I'm from Turkey, actually. Thank you for both of the presentations.
We are not hearing.
You are not hearing?
Please activate the mic.
Is it active? Can you check it?
Say mic to mic. Yeah, now it is.
Okay. My name is Dilek and I'm from Turkey. Thank you for both of the presentations. My concern is about public health ethics. I'm very fond of intersectorial collaboration, collaborative work, but I guess we need public health ethics frames for intersectoral collaboration, because there are many sectors and private sector especially. For example, I'm concerned on tobacco, and that we need to frame the limits while we are collaborating with other sectors, especially the threatening sectors of health. I would just like to have your comments on this topic. Thank you.
Intersectoriality, I think, is a concept that is not well defined, not well identified for a lot of actors in public health. And for me, the first thing we need to do is to define it in the initial training of health professionals, in when we organize collaboration, exchange with other sectors of activity, and we need to include it in policy making, because intersectorality needs to be more identified and more. We need to have more communication about this approach to convince actors from the field to be active in intersectorality. I don't know if I answered exactly to your question, but it's a difficult question. And maybe we can have more exchange about it at the oral table.
if there is no one else.
Oh, we did one very short
One very
one.
short. Sorry. I'm Lenore from Portugal. And just a quick question. When you talk about intersectorality, you're talking mainly on between public institutions, or also between private and third sector?
All together. We can act efficiently in public health with intersectoral approach. If we can work private, public institution, we can work together as we are in public or private institution, or if we are actors, specific actors in one of the different fields that I mentioned before.